Hello and welcome. I thought I'd give a bit of an update on the Swindon building since it's been some time. I've been debating on and off about how I should do the height map from, you might recall from a previous video. I've pretty much decided I'm not going to use height map data, so everything's going to be built on flat land, and if I feel like it I might add some height in later on. But I wanted to get on with building the structure of the city, as it were, and just to see how that works, how that fits, and I'll go over that a bit more later in this video. I should cover some other points for now. At the moment I'm only using the stock game. I'm not using any downloaded mods beyond the DLC packs that you can get for the game officially. So at some point I think I will have to go for additional mods because there are things I want to do and can't with the base game, but that will come later. I've turned on unlimited money because, being realistic, it's going to be mega expensive and I'm not going to be able to grow it in a reasonable way. And I've used the unlock everything option as well, which doesn't unlock everything, it turns out. So some of the later items looks like you still have to meet the prerequisites on other things you built. It only seems to unlock the population related items. Okay, so this is the view. Even if you live in Swindon it might not be too obvious, but this is looking over West Swindon towards Blagrove onto Junction 16. So we have mostly residential in this area. There's some office areas, and I put industry in, and that's a disconnect I'll have to work out later. So let's come out of this view and have a look around. So if I orientate it this way, up is north. Because I've got the unlocked everything, I've picked 8 map tiles to unlock already, and I believe I need to get a mod if I want to unlock more tiles, but this will be enough for me to get started with. And as you can see, I've started building in one area. So this is West Swindon. Again, this is the side I live in, so it's the one I'm more familiar with. We have the M4. This is Junction 16, and as you come off it we have the Windmill Hill. I guess you would class it as a business park. I've put offices there, and this is my first time using the European map theme, and I'm gonna have to change it at some point. I have to figure out how to change it, but yeah, it doesn't look like that. The default theme is better, but probably still not perfect. I'm gonna have to hunt through the workshop and see if I can get something more relevant. Blagrove is a kind of an industrial park, but I've just zoned it as regular industry for now, but there's certainly not massively polluting industry going on in Swindon or anywhere else really. So again, consider this a placeholder. I'm going to say that a lot. I think everything on this map is best considered a placeholder of what's here in real life, and over time I will improve it, but the goal is to get the structure in place first. The other way to look at it is I'm using quite a bit of artistic license. For another example, here is the turn off to going towards Royal Wootton Bassett. So once I unlock more map tiles I can start building that as well. But this was quite handy because there's 2 real life features here that I needed for the city already. So one, there is a crematorium. I had to put 3 units down because I have enough people for it to support it now, but so that's a thing, and that's useful and needed. And over here I put 2 solar power plants. There is a solar what do you call them, solar park in that area there, but it's just the regular ones you might find on roof tiles. It's not a fancy structure like this, but in this game, without looking for downloaded mods, I thought this is the nearest I can do for the short term. Being realistic, it's not big enough to power the whole of Swindon. It's only a tiny area, but it's a starting point to get working with. This is Great Western Way, so the main road towards the rest of the city from this side. So this part is high speed, so I've made it a 2-lane highway each way, and then it drops down to an urban 2-lane each way road moving on to the rest of the city. Most of this area here are housing estates, so residential mostly. We have one major, it's called an academy, but it maps to high school in this game, and there's a few we call them primary schools, so elementary schools, which I've added in these areas as well. I've tried to follow the road patterns, at least the major road patterns, as best I can, and it's quite obvious from trying this that the scaling is not right. There should be a lot more roads, a lot more houses in this area, and it isn't happening. So I'm just going to have to make do with what we have. Go for the major features. This is the local shopping centre. Don't know if it has a name actually, just West Swindon Centre, I guess. So we have a large supermarket there, and we have a sports centre there. So again, I had to be a bit creative with the available assets. It's not really a mall, it's just a supermarket with some other shops, so I've just thrown some low density commercial around. And apparently, according to Google Maps, I've never been in here myself actually, there's a library here as well, so I plonked a library down next door to it, and the library is actually bigger than a sports centre. Yeah, can't see that happening really. And just like in real life, no one uses them, so at least that part's realistic. I've started doing some mail as well. There is a sorting office here in real life, so I've put one there. It's actually down a side road there, but it just gets too small. And I know there's a post office inside this complex, but I had to add it as a separate building. What else is there? We have a fire station. Now this and police are going to be major sticking points. There are very few fire and police stations in the Swindon area, and the way the game mechanics work is you need a lot more of them than there are in real life, so I will have to sprinkle a few more around. I did have some fires already, but I managed to keep them under control. This badly shaped lake here, I'm going to need to landscape a bit more, but that's Lydia Park, so I haven't quite got around to doing anything with it yet, but that would be stretching out into this area. Following up the roads, what have we got? This isn't really here in real life, but I needed a water source, so I'm using it as a water source. Google Maps suggests there is some water there, but I'm sure it is not the water supply for the city, town even. Technically speaking, Swindon is a town, not a city. But there is sewage processing here, so I've started putting some of these down, so I can add more as needed later. Now this road by itself, I need to build the surrounding infrastructure around at some point, but for now that is where the main household recycling facility is. So if I want garbage in the city, I just put 6 recycling plants here for now. They're doing a okay job of handling it. And the rest of the map is pretty empty, but you might notice a few buildings which I'll very quickly go over. This is Swindon train station. It does what it says on the tin. There's no local trains in the area, so it's only intercity travel really. Again, this area needs a lot more work. There is actually a bus station here, but I didn't add it in yet because I suppose the next question is, how accurate do I want to be on bus routes? Do I try to recreate the real bus routes around a city? That could be quite a job in itself. So that's not my short-term priority, so the bus station would go there as well. Over here we have Swindon College. I've put it as university. It's not quite the level of a university, although it is beyond a high school, so I thought close enough, so I've put it there, which is approximately the right location. And down here we have the hospital, and I've put the medical helicopter as well right next to it. This is quite a large complex in real life, so they're doing a lot more stuff than just one tiny building that says hospital in this game. So I might have to put some other things around here later on. On that note, another mod I think I will have to add, going back to this area here, Shore Ridge. So this is a leisure-ish area. So in real life we have, here is a hotel, here is a pizza place, there's a pub here, what else have we got? Cinema, which I actually did manage to find one. That would be 10-pin bowling and Quasar, or Laser Quest, I don't know which one they call it these days. And here would be an Indian restaurant. So again, it's a bit more placeholder-ish. This big empty gap in the middle is car park basically, so I need to find and add the asset mod for that at some point. And right, that's it. That's the current situation report. Obviously I have a lot more work ahead of me to try to put things in place. For example, there's a park here that's missing, so I'll have to do something with that. Lots more residential. This is where the central area is, so commercial offices maybe. Cheney Manor, I guess it's considered as an industry estate, but again I'll have to think about what goes in there. The lines are a bit blurry actually, because there is some commercial in there as well, so the exact mapping isn't perfect, but we can work on it. I think around here is the Honda car factory, and I can't remember if there was one of those in the industries pack or not, so if I have to put one in, it would go there. Oh, I meant to show this as well. Now this is, if I zoom out, this is one of the external connections. I put it in as a 1 lane each way highway, and there is a roundabout here in real life, but before I put it in, it was happening here instead, same difference. Now something I found really interesting is the cars coming in from this external connection are going round a roundabout and leaving the same way again. Why are you doing this? So in real life, this is the road from Oxford, one of the great universities amongst Cambridge and Hull. But yeah, so they drive all the way down the road, come to Swindon, get to Swindon and go like, nah, I didn't want to come here after all, go round the roundabout, go back again. So this is something up with the game mechanics. I don't know why it's doing that, but it is doing that. I mean, I can even put, is it this one? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing it. They're coming in on the external connection, going round a roundabout and leaving again. Why are you adding to my traffic problems? Why come here in the first place? So I really don't know why they're doing that, but they are doing that. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I'm just going to have to keep adding more stuff, build it up, make it more representative, and then the phase, once I've got the city substantially in place, only then will I focus on trying to make the details match more realistically to how Swindon actually is. Yep, I think I'll finish there. Thanks for watching and see you next time.